Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we'll be continuing our series on Is This Spirit for You? In this video, we're going to be focusing on Heart of the Wildfire. The setup is going to be 3 Presence and 2 Blight on your starting board and the highest number sands. The playstyle, it starts with good offense and gets better from there, but lays down Blight as it grows. The smaller the game, the more restraint is needed to prevent tipping the island over into being completely blighted. The Wildfire can heal the land where it is, but may benefit from other blight removal powers, so it can add presence to problem lands without triggering a blight cascade. Removing blight from its own lands limits the firestorm, so that's your left innate. It is a high complex spirit, summary of powers, high offense, decent amount of control, higher fear, little defense, and a little bit more utility. I think this is pretty accurate. I mean, it's heavily offense. I would say I'd probably put, I think the control's about the same. I think the fear should probably be cut a little bit. Definitely doesn't have this much fear. And then the defense, I'll put a question mark. You heal blight from the right innate, but you're causing blight in the early game. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was more like actually like negative. Like we see a negative bar for finder. I wouldn't be surprised for offense there if Wildfire was a negative bar. Okay, let's flip over the spirit board. And we have Blazing Presence. So it says after you add or move presence after setup, in the land it goes to, for each fire uncovered on your tracks, deal 1 damage. If you have 2 or more fire, add a blight to that land. You then have to push all beasts and any number of Dahan. Destructive nature, blight added due to this spirit's effects does not destroy your presence. So what these special rules are saying, if I place a presence, every time I place a presence in a land, for every uncovered fire I have, I do 1 damage. So in this case, I'll be doing 1 damage. If I have 2, I'll be doing 2 damage. If this number ever exceeds 2, I will add a blight. Looking at my growth options here, I have a 0-1-1, which means I'm not placing presence on reclaim, and then I have 2 presence placement options. My reclaim is going to be a power card and an energy. My G2 is going to be a power card gain. And finally, my G3 is going to give me energy plus 1 energy per fire showing. Let's look at the tracks here. You end at 3-4, and you have access to a bunch of different fire spots and then a plant spot on your tracks. Unfortunately, Wildfire's tracks are pretty awful. If you like playing majors, this is not the spirit for you. And that is because pretty much everything outside of that top fire just doesn't exist ever. And part of the reason is you need to use this G3 anyway to get that consistent energy. And you're a 0-1-1, which means you're growing the least. And getting to 2 card plays is really important. And then getting to that 3rd card play, like the jump from 2 to 3 card plays, tends to be pretty massive. And then at that point, usually the game is close to over, because that means you would have 4 growths and likely 2 reclaims, which means you'd be around turn 6. You have 2 innates. The left innate is going to be your damage innate, and the right innate is your healing innate. Left innate, Firestorm. It must target a land with Blight, 0 range, 1 damage per 2 fire. If you have 3 plant, 1 damage per fire. If you have this air threshold, you can split the damage among all of your lands with Blight. And finally, if you have this 7 fire, you get to destroy all invaders in the land, which is a pretty cool effect. Now, this does add Blight, and since you already are going to have Blight in that land, you're almost certainly going to cascade. So this innate here is going to cost you 2 Blight. Looking at the right innate, this allows you to remove Blight based on different thresholds. This last threshold here is pretty much a dream. I don't think I ever see anybody ever hit this. Looking at the power cards here, we have Asphyxiating Smoke. It's a 2 energy slow. Fire, Air, Plant, Sacred Site range 2. 1 fear, destroy a town, and push a Dahan. Flame's Fury, it's a 0 cost fast. Stun, Fire, Plant. Target any spirit. Target spirit gains an energy. Target spirit gets +1 damage with each damage dealing power they use. This card is extremely powerful as it can buff your innates and your power cards, and it gives you an energy. And that's another reason why the energy track is just so mediocre on this spirit. You're getting a ton of energy here, and then you have this +1 energy card. Threatening Flames, it's a fast power, fire, plant, 0 cost. Targets a land with invaders plus blight, get 2 fear, push an explorer town per tier level, and then if there's no adjacent lands, an additional +2 fear. And finally, your weakest card, Flash Fires. A 2 cost fire air, slow power, 1 range, 1 fear, 1 damage. You have 2 air, it may become fast. This card is terrible. It really should just cost 1. I'm not going to get too much into like the different problems with Wildfire and what they should change and what they shouldn't. But yeah, this card is just really bad to play on the Spirit. Okay, so is this Spirit for you? Wildfire is a tempo Spirit. Tempo Spirit means you have to play above the pace of the adversary if you want to win. There's also a high offense Spirit. You'll be placing presence in lands, killing invaders, trying to create pockets to prevent further explorers. It is not a defensive spirit, so if you like defensive strategies, this is not the spirit for you. It's also very elemental intensive. I know it's a fire spirit, but really the most important element is plant. If the miners that you pick up don't have plant, you're not going to want to play them. In addition, your energy economy is so tight, and you pretty much need to find 0 cost cards. So it locks you out of playing a lot of those 1 cost cards. Once again, this is a spirit that isn't going to be playing majors, and that's because your energy economy is so weak. I know I talked about not going along top track, and the reason for that is like even if you do, it's just this is not enough energy to play majors consistently. Utility is, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, you do have some, and that's because of that Flames Fury card. So this is pretty cool when you can combine this card with stuff like green with that left innate, that Creepers Tear into Mortar, increasing the damage for each repeat. Now, I don't enjoy playing Wildfire. I've played a bunch of games in the past, especially when I first started off, and I really liked it. But as I played a lot of the other spirits, I just really didn't enjoy the Wildfire puzzles. It's just you feel so constrained based on your drafts. And also you can't really tech majors. The 0/1/1 growth style usually isn't a style that I like playing. Now, I do like playing the new aspect covered in the NI expansion, and that's called transforming. And this is going to replace our right innate here, and we're going to get another weakness, and it says transform rather than consume. When your actions would destroy cities, still get the fear, but then that city becomes a town and an explorer, and they get pushed. When your actions would destroy towns, 1 fear, and replace that town with explorers. So now we're going to have more trouble killing buildings. But we now get a very powerful innate, and it's called Exaltation of the Transforming Flame. You target another spirit. Target spirit may forget a power card to gain a power card and gain an energy. You also get to do likewise. You then have a second threshold. Target spirit may pay an energy to heal a blight and create a Badlands. You may do otherwise. And finally, target spirit may replace an explorer with a beast. You may do likewise. So you have ways to heal blight for 2 spirits and add Badlands, and gift elements, and also redraft cards. And finally, you can create more beasts. This, for me, is the only way I will ever play Wildfire just because it adds so much more complexity and also combo potential. You have spirits that need elements. If you need to add Badlands, you need to add beasts. There's just so many combinations that make this spirit very interesting. Now, it does come with a very huge weakness here, and this is something that you're going to have to play around, but Wildfire can play around this weakness here. Now, how does that affect summary of powers? So is the spirit for you? This is going to reduce your offensive potential, right? Because you'll be killing the same amount of buildings, but you're going to be creating more invaders. So it'd reduce that offensive potential, but it's going to massively increase that utility here because you're going to be creating beasts, badlands. You'll be healing blight, which will probably, I would say, probably increases the defense just slightly. Now you might be saying, wait a minute, your other right innate healed blight. And you're right. But this, you get to target 2 players, which means you're healing 2 times the number of blight. Because this right innate here, you're only healing blight on the first 2 tiers, and that last tier that lets you heal a second blight never comes up. Here, you're always healing 2 blight because you're going to pick some player. Like if you have a stone player, this is just filthy, right? Because now stone is paying an energy to create magic blight, and then now stone can pay another energy to then remove that blight, which puts it into the blight pool, and then creates a badlands for stone. Like this is it's just so crazy what the spirit can do with like I just keep stone as an example, but like um Fangs, just another one here where you can remove blight. Fangs has trouble dealing with those blighted lands with that left innate ranging hunt. So now we have Wildfire that can remove the blight for Fangs. Then they can add Badlands. Now Fangs' damage is going to increase. And then you can even create beasts. So there's just so many cool, and like I just picked 2 spirits, but like so many spirits up here can benefit from transforming. Okay, if you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I will see you guys in the next video.